Have you ever met someone who completely shifts the energy in your world? Quietly, effortlessly, without even trying? It's not the fireworks kind of love, the one that arrives loudly and burns out fast. It's slower, softer, the kind that sneaks up on you between conversations, glances, and silences that somehow feel louder than words. When you look at him, you don't just see someone you're drawn to. You feel something that lives deeper than attraction, something your heart recognizes before your mind can explain. Maybe you've noticed how his behavior changes when you're around, how his eyes search for you in a crowded room, how his voice softens just a little when he says your name, or how he remembers the smallest things you mention without even realizing it. These aren't coincidences. They're emotional fingerprints, subtle traces of affection left behind by a man who's falling deeper every day but hasn't yet said it out loud. Psychologists say that when love begins to grow beneath the surface, it doesn't shout. It whispers. It shows up in micro-expressions, body language, and small, consistent actions that reveal what words are too afraid to. A man might tell the world he's fine, calm, in control, yet his nervous laughter, the way he leans closer, or the way he listens when you speak, gives everything away. Love doesn't need an announcement. It makes itself known through presence, attention, and the quiet shift of energy that happens when two hearts start aligning. This kind of love is both beautiful and terrifying. Beautiful because it feels genuine, untouched by pretense or performance. Terrifying because it exposes something raw. When a man starts falling for you, he can't always articulate what's happening. He just knows that being near you feels right. You calm his chaos and ignite something within him all at once. He begins to crave your presence, not for validation, but for peace. And maybe you felt it too. That subtle pull, that quiet electricity that hums in the air when your eyes meet. The conversations that feel effortless. The silences that feel safe. The moments that make time stand still. Those are the beginnings of something real. The space where emotion deepens into connection. In this video, we'll explore the 15 subtle signs he's falling deeper every day. Not the obvious ones you've heard before, but the ones that live between words and actions. The signs hidden in the way he looks at you, listens to you, and shows up for you when you least expect it. These are the moments that reveal his heart long before his lips ever do. So if you've ever wondered whether what you're feeling is mutual, if that spark you sense might actually be love in its quietest form, stay till the end, because by the time we finish, you'll know exactly what his silence, his glances, and his small gestures have been trying to tell you all along. His eyes search for you in every room. When a man's eyes search for you in every room, it's one of the most revealing signs that his feelings run deeper than he admits. He may not say a word, but his gaze betrays him every time. Even in a crowd, his attention instinctively finds you, like a quiet magnet pulling him closer. It's not just about physical attraction. It's about emotional focus. You've become the person his mind seeks out first, almost unconsciously. This kind of eye behavior is deeply rooted in psychology. Studies show that when someone feels emotionally connected or in love, their brain releases dopamine, which drives attention toward the object of affection. That's why, even without meaning to, he keeps scanning the room until he spots you. Once he does, his entire body language relaxes slightly. His shoulders drop, his smile softens, and there's a sense of calm in his expression. In that brief moment, he feels grounded just by your presence. You might notice his eyes lingering, a second too long, or catching your gaze and looking away quickly as if he's afraid you'll notice. This push and pull of eye contact is powerful. It creates an emotional current that words can't capture. When a man is falling deeper in love, he often communicates more through his eyes than through conversation. Every glance becomes a small confession, every look away a silent attempt to hide feelings that are growing too strong to control. Sometimes he'll steal glances when he thinks you're distracted. Other times you'll catch him watching you with that unmistakable warmth, the kind that makes time feel slower for just a heartbeat. His eyes will soften, and in that look, you'll feel something unspoken but undeniable. It's as if he's memorizing you, the way you smile, the way you move, the way you exist. What makes this so meaningful is its purity. He's not looking for attention, he's simply drawn to you. His eyes searching for you isn't habit, it's instinct. And when a man's instincts start pointing toward one person again and again, it's a sign his heart already knows what his words haven't yet found the courage to say. Toisu softens. When he talks to you, when a man's voice softens when he talks to you, it's not a coincidence, it's an instinctive emotional response. His tone changes because he subconsciously feels safe, connected, and drawn to you. Even if he's confident or assertive around others, with you, his words come out slower, gentler, almost as if he's afraid to break the delicate connection that exists between you. Psychologically, this shift in tone is a powerful indicator of emotional intimacy. Research in communication psychology shows that when people speak to someone they deeply care for, their vocal pitch and rhythm naturally change. The body's parasympathetic nervous system activates, calming the voice and slowing speech. It's the same physiological response that occurs when someone looks at something they love. Everything softens. When he talks to you, listen to the warmth in his voice. Notice how he drops his guard, how his laughter feels lighter, and how he pauses before speaking, as though he wants every word to land gently. That's not performance, it's affection in its purest, most unconscious form. He might not even realize how different he sounds with you, but his heart does. Sometimes, his tone might shift mid-conversation, especially if the topic turns personal. You'll hear that slight tremor of care, an emotional vibration that says, "You matter." This softening is his way of emotionally cradling the moment, showing that he respects and values your presence. It's not about what he says, but how he says it. Even in group settings, pay attention to the difference. Around others, his voice may carry confidence and clarity, but when he turns to you, the edges blur, the rhythm slows, and something intimate takes over. It's as if his entire being is tuned to your frequency. Love, in its quiet beginnings, doesn't always need grand gestures. Sometimes it hides in tone, in a voice that unconsciously lowers not out of weakness, but out of tenderness. When his voice softens for you, it's his heart speaking in a language only you can hear. First, he remembers the smallest details about you. When a man remembers the smallest details about you, it reveals something deeper than casual interest. It shows emotional focus and genuine care. He's not just hearing your words, he's listening with his heart. Maybe you mentioned your favorite coffee once or the song that reminds you of childhood, and he brings it up days later without being prompted. Those moments aren't accidents. They're proof that you occupy a special place in his mind. Psychologically, this behavior stems from selective attention, the brain's tendency to prioritize information connected to strong emotions. When someone feels love or deep attachment, their mind automatically stores and recalls details about that person more easily. So when he remembers the little things, your birthday, your pet's name, how you like your tea, it's not because he's trying to impress you. It's because his emotions have made you unforgettable. You'll notice that he remembers not just facts, but feelings. He recalls how you felt after a hard day, or what made you smile during a random conversation. That's emotional memory, the kind that forms when someone truly cares. It's also a sign that he's emotionally invested enough to notice patterns. How your mood changes with the weather, or how your eyes light up when you talk about something you love. When a man pays attention at this level, it's because your presence matters to him. You're not background noise in his day. You're a melody he keeps replaying in his mind. He might even surprise you with gestures based on those small details. A tea, snack you like, a place you once said you wanted to visit, a message at the exact moment you needed it. Love often hides in observation. Remembering small things isn't about memory, it's about meaning. When a man holds on to the smallest details about you, it's his heart's way of saying, "You matter to me more than you know." Prig. His body language opens up around you. When a man's body language opens up around you, it's one of the clearest, most honest signals that he's falling deeper every day. Unlike words, body language doesn't lie. Even if he tries to hide his feelings, his posture, gestures, and expressions quietly give him away. You'll notice he turns his body toward you when you speak. His feet point in your direction, and his arms relax rather than crossing defensively. These small unconscious cues reveal comfort, interest, and emotional openness. Psychologically, this behavior stems from what experts call nonverbal synchrony, the body's natural way of mirroring and aligning with someone we feel connected to. When a man opens his body language, he's essentially saying, "I trust you." He lets his guard down because he feels emotionally safe in your presence. His movements become more fluid, his hands more expressive, his gestures more genuine. He's not performing. He's simply being himself. You might also notice the way he leans in slightly when you talk, or how he maintains comfortable eye contact without forcing it. These subtle signs of proximity are his body's way of closing the distance between you, both physically and emotionally. Even small touches like brushing your arm or guiding you gently through a crowd come naturally. They aren't about control, they're about connection. Another revealing clue is how he mirrors your actions without realizing it. If you cross your legs, he might do the same a moment later. If you smile, his expression softens too. This subconscious mirroring happens when emotional resonance deepens. It's the body's quiet way of saying, "We're in sync." When a man's body relaxes around you, it means he feels at ease, understood, and accepted. That openness isn't just attraction, it's vulnerability. His body is telling you what his words haven't yet found the courage to express, that being near you feels natural, peaceful, and real. And in love, that kind of comfort speaks louder than any confession ever could. He finds reasons to be near you. When a man starts finding reasons to be near you, it's one of the most telling signs that his feelings are deepening. He might not say it directly, but his actions reveal the truth. He just wants to be around you, whether it's offering to help with something small, showing up where you'll be, or casually joining a group just because you're in it. These moments aren't random. They're his heart's quiet way of staying close without risking rejection. From a psychological standpoint, this behavior is rooted in proximity attraction, the natural tendency to form stronger emotional bonds with people we spend time near. When a man is falling in love, his brain associates your presence with comfort and happiness, releasing dopamine and oxytocin, the connection chemicals. That's why he keeps finding excuses to cross paths, even when he doesn't need to. It's not about convenience. It's about emotional gravity. You've become his safe space. You may notice how he appears when you least expect it, walking by your usual coffee spot, volunteering to join the same project, or simply choosing a seat near you. He might phrase it casually, saying things like, "I was just passing by," or "I thought you'd be here." But underneath that calm surface, there's longing. He feels better in your orbit, more alive, more seen, more connected. His behavior also reflects comfort and curiosity. Being near you allows him to learn more, how you react, what makes you laugh, how you think. It's his subtle way of deepening the emotional thread between you, one shared moment at a time. When a man makes consistent efforts to be close, physically, emotionally, or through shared experiences, it's his unspoken confession. He may not have the words yet, but every coincidental meeting is a small declaration of affection. Because when someone's heart starts falling, distance feels like silence, and closeness becomes the only language love knows. He listens more than he speaks when a man listens more than he speaks. It's one of the quietest yet most powerful signs that he's falling deeper every day. In a world where most people wait for their turn to talk, he's genuinely tuned in. Not just to your words, but to your emotions, tone, and the meaning beneath what you say. He remembers your stories, your struggles, and even the small things you mentioned once and forgot. That level of attention isn't accidental. It's emotional presence. Psychologically, deep listening is linked to empathic attunement, the ability to connect emotionally and intuitively with another person's inner world. When a man listens this way, it shows his focus has shifted from himself to you. He's not just trying to impress or respond. He's trying to understand. Each pause, each nod, each soft yeah is his way of showing he values your voice and wants to feel closer to your thoughts. You'll notice he doesn't interrupt or rush to give advice. Instead, he lets you finish even when the silence stretches. That patience reveals emotional restraint, a sign he's learning your rhythm, not trying to dominate it. When you talk, he's not distracted or glancing at his phone. His eyes stay on you. His expression changes with yours, and his body subtly leans in. These are the small subconscious ways love listens. Listening in this sense becomes a form of affection. He's learning you, Your likes, fears, dreams, and even the way your voice shifts when you're happy or hiding something. To him, your thoughts are more than conversation. They're insight into who you are, and every time he listens deeply, he's building emotional intimacy without needing grand gestures. So when you find a man who listens more than he speaks, understand that he's offering you something rare: his time, attention, and emotional space. Because love isn't always declared in words. Sometimes it's felt in the way someone stays quiet just to hear you breathe a little easier. His energy changes when you're around. When a man's energy changes when you're around, it's one of the clearest signs that his feelings for you are deepening beyond his control. You might not notice it at first, but others will. The way he suddenly seems more alive, more focused, or even slightly nervous when you enter the room. His entire demeanor shifts, almost as if your presence flips a switch inside him. The change in energy isn't random. It's emotional chemistry at work. Psychologists describe this as emotional resonance. When two people's energies naturally align because of a growing emotional connection. His body releases dopamine and adrenaline when he's near you, which explains why he might talk faster, smile more, or appear visibly happier. At the same time, oxytocin, the bonding hormone, creates a sense of calm, which is why he also seems more relaxed and grounded when you're close. It's a fascinating mix of excitement and comfort that only happens when someone feels emotionally safe and attracted at the same time. You may notice subtle shifts. His laughter comes easier, his posture straightens, and his focus narrows to you, even in a crowded space. Sometimes he might act a little awkward, fumbling his words or fidgeting with his hands. That nervous energy is his body's way of handling the emotional intensity your presence brings. He's not just reacting to how you look. He's responding to how you make him feel. Energy doesn't lie. When someone's feelings are genuine, their whole being reacts. Voice tone, facial expression, breathing, and even micro movements. You can feel it in the air, that invisible pull that says something's different here. So when his energy shifts every time you walk in, know this: you're not imagining it. That spark, that subtle charge in the air is real. It's the unspoken language of attraction. The body's quiet confession that the heart has already chosen. He starts sharing personal stories and dreams when a man starts sharing his personal stories and dreams with you. It's a powerful sign that his emotional walls are coming down. Men don't open up deeply to just anyone. They do it when they feel a rare combination of trust, connection, and safety. When he begins to tell you about his childhood memories, his past mistakes, his fears, or the future he envisions, it means he's letting you into his inner world, a place he normally guards carefully. Psychologically, this act is tied to emotional vulnerability and intimacy building. According to relationship psychology, people reveal personal stories as a way to deepen emotional bonds and test emotional safety. When he shares, he's subconsciously asking, "Can I be myself with you?" If you listen without judgment, that trust grows even stronger and he feels more seen and accepted than he ever has before. You'll notice he begins to move beyond surface-level conversation. Instead of talking about everyday things, he'll share the moments that shaped him, what drives him, what hurt him, and what he dreams of achieving. He might tell you about a time he failed but learned something meaningful, or confess the goals he's too shy to admit to others. That kind of openness isn't about impressing you. It's about connecting with you. This kind of emotional sharing also signals that he's imagining you in his future. When a man talks about his dreams, his ideal life, where he wants to go, what he hopes to build, and you're part of that conversation, it shows you're already woven into his long-term thinking. So when he starts opening up, don't underestimate the depth of what's happening. His stories are more than words. They're invitations. Every personal detail he shares is his heart's quiet way of saying, "I trust you with the real me." And when that kind of honesty appears, it's no longer just affection. It's love growing roots. 9. He gets protective in gentle ways. When a man gets protective in gentle ways, it's one of the most tender signs that he's falling deeply in love. His protection isn't loud or controlling. It's quiet, natural, and rooted in care. He doesn't try to dominate you or make decisions for you. Instead, he looks out for your well-being in ways that make you feel safe without feeling restricted. It's in the way he subtly positions himself on the side of the road when you walk together, checks if you got home safely, or notices when you're tired and tells you to rest. Psychologically, this behavior is tied to attachment theory and the protective instinct. When a man develops a strong emotional bond, his brain releases oxytocin and vasopressin, hormones linked to connection and caretaking. This triggers a deep desire to protect the person he values. It's not about physical strength. It's about emotional safety. He wants to be the person you can rely on, even in small, everyday moments. You'll often notice these gentle gestures without him even realizing he's doing them. He'll slow his pace to match yours, adjust his tone when he senses you're upset, or quietly step in when someone makes you uncomfortable. He's attuned to your moods, sensing when something's wrong before you even say it. That's not coincidence. That's emotional awareness born from love. Sometimes, his protectiveness shows through simple words like, "Text me when you get home," or "Wear a jacket. It's cold tonight." While these might seem small, they're filled with genuine affection. He's not trying to control you. He's trying to make sure you're okay because your comfort has become part of his peace of mind. True love doesn't roar. It whispers in actions. When a man becomes gently protective, it means you've reached a place in his heart where your safety and happiness matter as much as his own. And in those quiet moments of care, his love speaks louder than words ever could. He mirrors your emotions. Without realizing, when a man begins to mirror your emotions without realizing it, it's one of the most intimate and unconscious signs that he's deeply connected to you. You'll see it in how his mood subtly shifts with yours. If you're happy, he seems lighter. If you're quiet or sad, his tone softens, his energy calms, and he instinctively adjusts to match you. This isn't something he plans or controls. It's his subconscious responding to your emotional state because he's emotionally attuned to you. Psychologically, this behavior is known as emotional contagion, the natural human tendency to absorb and reflect the emotions of people we feel close to. But when it happens consistently between two people, it indicates empathic attunement, a deep emotional synchronization that usually exists only in strong romantic bonds. His nervous system is, in a sense, tuning in to yours. He feels your highs and lows as if they were his own. You'll notice this mirroring not only emotionally but physically too. He might start using similar gestures, facial expressions, or even phrases without realizing it. If you laugh, he laughs too. If you sigh, his shoulders drop in quiet empathy. These subtle reflections show he's not just observing you, he's emotionally with you. His mind and body are synchronizing because he's emotionally invested. This kind of connection is rare because it requires vulnerability. It means he's let his guard down enough for your emotions to influence his own, and in that shared emotional rhythm, a unique intimacy forms, the kind that doesn't rely on words. So when you notice that his mood seems to echo yours, understand that it's not coincidence. It's love expressing itself in silence now through empathy, energy, and instinct. When a man mirrors your emotions, he's showing, without even knowing it, that your heart has already become part of his emotional world. He checks in even without a reason. When a man checks in with you even without a reason, it's one of the purest, most telling signs that you've become emotionally significant to him. He's not doing it out of obligation or habit. It's his heart's quiet way of staying connected. A simple "How's your day going?" or "Did you eat?" carries far more meaning than it seems. It's his way of saying, "I was thinking about you." Psychologically, this kind of behavior reflects emotional investment and attachment. When someone genuinely cares, they start to integrate you into their mental world. You're part of their thoughts even when you're not around. The human brain releases dopamine when thinking about someone we're emotionally drawn to, and that creates an unconscious urge to reach out. So when he texts, calls, or checks in just to know how you're doing, it's not casual curiosity. It's affection finding an excuse to connect. You'll notice he doesn't always have a specific reason. Sometimes it's just a good morning message, a meme that reminded him of you, or a random question that could have waited. The point isn't the message, it's the presence. He wants to remind you that he's there, that you matter, and that your world still intersects with his. This kind of consistent, thoughtful checking in is a form of emotional reliability, one of the strongest foundations of real love. It means he's paying attention, not just to events in your life but to you as a person, and in a time when distractions are everywhere, that focus is rare. So when he reaches out without needing a reason, don't overlook it. That's not routine, that's connection. His messages may be simple, But behind each one lies an unspoken truth. You're on his mind, even when you don't ask to be. 12. He supports you quietly behind the scenes. When a man supports you quietly behind the scenes, it's a clear sign that his love is genuine, selfless, and deeply rooted. He's not doing it for attention or praise. He's doing it because he truly cares. You may not always see his efforts, but they're there, recommending you subtly, cheering for your success, and helping in ways that make your life smoother without you having to ask. Psychologically, this reflects altruistic affection, a type of love where the person gains emotional satisfaction simply by contributing to your happiness. It's an unspoken form of loyalty that develops when emotional attachment grows strong. When a man truly values you, he wants to make your path easier, even if no one ever knows he had a part in it. You might notice it in the smallest things. He'll remind you of something important, encourage you when you're doubting yourself, or take care of problems silently so you don't have to stress. Sometimes he'll never mention it. You'll just find things falling into place. That's because his love is rooted in quiet action, not loud words. This kind of man doesn't need credit. Seeing you at peace or watching you achieve something fills him with pride. It's his way of saying, I'm with you, even when you don't see me. He celebrates your victories as if they were his own, and when you stumble, he's the steady hand that helps you back up without judgment or drama. True love often reveals itself in stillness, in the support that happens when no one is watching. When a man invests effort in your happiness without needing recognition, it shows a depth of care that words can't express. That's the kind of love that lasts, the kind that protects, uplifts, and stays constant, even in silence. He feels nervous, yet drawn to you. When a man feels nervous yet drawn to you, it's one of the most beautiful contradictions that reveal genuine affection. His words might stumble, his gestures may seem clumsy, and his calm confidence might suddenly waver. Not because he's unsure of himself, but because being around you awakens something real. His heart and mind are in quiet conflict. He wants to appear composed, yet his emotions betray him every time you're near. From a psychological perspective, this experience is tied to physiological arousal and emotional vulnerability. When someone is attracted and emotionally invested, their body releases adrenaline and dopamine, hormones that heighten awareness and excitement. This is why he might laugh nervously, touch his face, or shift his posture when talking to you. It's not anxiety in the negative sense. It's his body responding to the emotional charge your presence creates. You'll notice he sometimes goes quiet when you enter the room, or his tone softens unexpectedly. He may fidget with small things, his phone, a pen, his sleeves, while listening intently to what you're saying. He's trying to manage the rush of emotions you stir in him, while still maintaining composure. It's that delicate balance between wanting to impress you and being afraid of revealing too much too soon. This kind of nervousness doesn't come from insecurity. It comes from care. He's nervous because you matter. He's drawn to you because something in him recognizes a connection deeper than surface attraction. And as time goes on, that nervous energy often transforms into comfort, the kind that only exists when someone's heart feels safe. So when you notice his hands fidgeting, his laugh coming too quickly, or his voice dipping when he speaks your name, don't mistake it for awkwardness. It's love in motion, quietly revealing itself through every unguarded moment. In those small nervous gestures lies the truth his words haven't yet found the courage to say. You make his heart race because you've already touched it. 14. His friends start to notice the change in him. When a man's friends start to notice the change in him, it's one of the clearest signs that his feelings for you have grown deeper than he probably realizes. Love, no matter how quietly it begins, always leaves traces. In his tone, his habits, and even in the way he talks about you when you're not around. Friends are often the first to spot these shifts because they know his usual patterns. And when something, or someone, starts to affect his behavior, they see it immediately. You might not hear it directly, but they'll tease him in subtle ways. A smile, a comment, or a knowing look when your name comes up. That's because they can sense that you've changed his energy. Maybe he's happier, calmer, more focused. Maybe he checks his phone more often or seems lost in thought. These are signs of emotional preoccupation, when someone has become a meaningful part of his mental and emotional space. Psychologically, this reflects emotional integration, the stage in attraction where feelings start blending into daily life. He's not just thinking about you in isolated moments. He's carrying you in the background of everything he does. His friends notice because love changes small things first. His priorities, his attitude, his willingness to talk about the future. They might hear him mention you more, or notice that he's more thoughtful or protective than usual. Even if he tries to play it cool, genuine affection has a way of softening his demeanor. The man who once joked easily might now speak with a bit more depth or reflectiveness, and that's love grounding itself. So, when his friends start noticing the difference, it's a sign his feelings are no longer hidden in the quiet corners of his heart. They've become visible, even to the people who know him best. And in that quiet shift, when love begins to show through him without words, you can be sure it's real. His silence feels safe. Not awkward. When a man's silence feels safe, not awkward. It's one of the most profound signs that he's falling deeply in love. With most people, silence can feel uncomfortable, a gap that begs to be filled with words. But with him, it's different. When you sit together without speaking, it doesn't feel empty. It feels peaceful. The quiet between you isn't distance, it's connection. This kind of silence is rooted in emotional attunement, a state psychologists describe as a deep sense of mutual understanding, where two people feel emotionally synchronized. When this happens, words become unnecessary because both people can sense each other's mood, thoughts, and comfort simply through presence. He doesn't feel pressure to entertain you, and you don't feel the need to fill every pause. Together, you share a space where stillness feels natural. You'll notice this during simple moments. The quiet car ride, sitting together on a couch, or watching something side by side. He doesn't fidget, check his phone, or rush to speak. Instead, he seems fully present, calm, and grounded. That calmness is his heart telling him he's safe with you. His silence isn't disinterest, it's trust. It's the quiet assurance that he can simply be, without performance or pretense. Sometimes he'll glance at you and smile softly, not because of what you said, but because of what he feels. That's love revealing itself in its purest form, not through words, but through presence. It's rare, powerful, and deeply human. When silence feels this peaceful, it means your connection has moved beyond attraction or curiosity. It's become something stable and soulful. In that wordless stillness, there's understanding, respect, and a quiet bond that speaks louder than any declaration. Because when a man's silence feels safe, it's not emptiness, it's his heart saying, "I'm home."